Hello everybody, Redwin here. I am back with another Minecraft build. This was totally not right after the last recording, because I was very clearly trying to hide this second build. But here we have it. This is my sort of cobblestone farm build. I can show this as well. I'm not trying to hide that. I already showed that. I saw a post the other day. Apparently back in the Middle Ages, what they would do is they would have a farm on the sort of floor level of their house, and they would turn that into a barn, and the actual farmers would live in the floor above. So that's what I kind of tried to replicate here. You have this very, very cozy little dining room. This obviously leads down this little staircase into the barn, so the farmer could, take some wheat and feed the cows or whatever. I tried putting animals in here, but because the wall is sort of stylistic, I tried to stagger the elevation and, make it look a little more aesthetic, but that means they can just hop right over. So we can pretend there are animals here. Because otherwise the animals would roam all over my little super flat world. That would not be very fun. But anyway, so this is the little farm area. This is where you would keep the cows. Up here, we come back. The little farmer's dining room with a little hearth. And this is the sort of bedroom, the little study area, where I imagine the farmer would live with his... I suppose his wife, but that's a very small bed, so I guess he's working on it. Anyway, enchantment table here, I thought that looked very nice as a desk, as averted to, originally what I had done was I had put a desk like there. And that could still work. I mean, as a desk, you throw a pot on there and, a sapling... All of a sudden, he's a little, a bonsai trimmer, whatever those people are called. So you can kind of explore a lot of different options. That's another thing I really love about the sort of older building systems in Minecraft is you had to be a lot more creative with the limited palette that you had. Obviously, I get a lot more freedom with this resource pack. But in modern versions of the game, you would just, type in lectern and put the lectern there, because it's just a block that, looks like that. But I do really like, finding little hacks and ways to make it still look good. Obviously, the resource pack does, the absolute heavy lifting. If I turn it off, you have this obsidian thing in the middle of the room, and if you come out here, the lantern's just a fucking end rod. So it looks a little janky in the default resource pack, but I actually love that. I find it very endearing. The older versions of the game were kind of what I grew up with, so it's very reminiscent for me to come back and play these versions instead of the modern versions. With distant horizons and all that, which is still cool, don't get me wrong, but I felt when coming back to this, partially because I was limited into wanting to play MCO, and partially for whatever other reasons, this is what stuck with me. So yeah, this is the little study. I love this red carpet texture. This is the Excalibur resource pack, by the way. Oh my god. So good. This is this spruce door. Look at that. And then you go here, you get the oak door, and it's just like a spruce door, but it also looks medieval. It's so cool. I'm an absolute sucker for that style. Obviously here, it's a very easy way to add greenery to your builds is just to, throw some leaves in there. Make a little bush. Why not? Helps the room feel a little more lived in. This sort of carpet here, I was trying to go for sort of a wolf pelt for something a little more rustic, Excuse me. And so that's why I chose the gray carpet, which ended up looking very nice. And I think it sells the look. I don't know. Leave a comment if that looks like a wolf pelt to you, or that'd be a big wolf, huh? A gray bear. Yes, those exist. Those exist. I am absolutely infatuated with this stair design here. So cool. And it's a very historical thing. You can look at a lot of castles and they have that sort of lead up way. You'll notice in this build, the cobblestone texture is mixed in with a lot of different blocks. You have stone, you have, where is it? And there's andesite in here somewhere. I forget what the texture, there it is, there's some andesite. I blended a lot more, which isn't something I did on this build particularly. I could have gone in, you know, with some andesite and, oh, there goes the grass there. Could have gone in with some andesite and done that, which does sort of add to the flavor, but honestly, the cobblestone texture looks more as if it was handmade, you know? You would see this in like a rustic cottage. Meanwhile, this, I was going for more of a weathered, like, oh, this thing's all stone, so if you look at old castles, a lot of the times it'll be sunken in parts and the stone's compressing and sort of the rain has weathered it. So that was sort of the inspiration here, which, you know, alternatively, it also just looked weird to have a flat cobblestone wall like this. Okay, if I can place blocks. It looks a little bland, you know? So that's a really easy way to sort of shake up your builds. Is to just mix up your palette a little. Throw in some little doodads and goobers and all that good shit. These vines, very nice. I'm a sucker for greenery, although it's gotten a little... Do these grow upward? I don't remember placing these. That's weird. Yeah, I love how it adds to the effect. I thought about throwing in some mossy cobble or mossy stone bricks, but sometimes less is more, you know? I think that's really what I was going for with this build, this little cottage here. Obviously, I toured it in the last video, but these builds in general are just not very, you know, large. They're not super grand, but you can do a lot with a small space. I mean, this is tiny compared to a lot of the castles I've built, especially in Valheim, if you've seen those videos. I don't know. Sometimes it's good to just limit yourself and work with something that's a little more palatable. Thank you for listening to my fucking TED Talk on whatever the hell I was talking about. I do want to show you one last thing before I go. I forgot about this. This is the cellar. Look at that. In the base of the tower, you come down these little stairs, and you got all these lovely, lovely little decoration blocks that Excalibur provides. If I turn off the resource pack, it looks like this. Sort of a Gmod missing texture effect. I'm sure that'll be lovely when I put it on MCO for all the people that don't use resource packs. Looks very silly without the resource pack, but I love how Excalibur takes those blocks and just flavors them up. You know, this is like a crate of fish, perhaps, a fish basket. You got a crate of coal instead of just a block. This sort of, I don't know, grain flour barrel or something. And then the classic crate. I mean, if you click them, it looks a little silly because it's actually a shulker. But just as a set piece, it's so nice. It's so nice. I highly recommend Excalibur for building. That's another really amazing thing about the resource pack, is it provides you so much more flavor with the block variety, or simple block varieties, with a lot less. like in this build. It's just like you have in default resource pack, it's sort of just a flat cobblestone texture. A little bit of stone bricks mixed in. That looks very nice, except for that little dildo on the wall there. But with you throw an Excalibur and all of a sudden it all just meshes. It all just it all sticks together. It's so nice. And I mean, obviously the textures do blend a little, which just adds that little extra secret spice. Highly recommend the Excalibur resource pack. That is what I'll be building in for probably the rest of this sort of I don't even know what series. But yeah, cool builds. Those are the builds. That's the build. This was the main build for the showcase. I don't even know what to call this. Cobblestone thing. That is the cobblestone thing. Now it's the stone farmer's house or what have you. Again, you'll notice I used the flat wolf. Yes. The flat wolf. No. The flat wall extrusion here for the roof. I cannot get enough of it. The overhang obviously provides that nice little level of detail. If I were to remove this, it looks a bit silly. Throw that on, and were I to do this, I mean, it also looks kind of just as silly to do something like that. I mean, it does add a little extra sort of flavor and geometry to it, but I think you get a lot more realistic looking build when you cut that trim off. Something I'm just experimenting with. Obviously, it's not a necessary thing, but those are just some of the concepts I'd like to explore with these builds, and yeah, cool. If you enjoyed, you already know what to do. Peace.